your guys' attention.
Oh, yeah. Is this the one that it's cool in the summer and warm in the winter?
Yeah, so this is a pit house. This would fit probably about a family of 15. Where they'd sleep is down around where you guys are sitting, and the upper area was used as shelving. You could store food up there if you want. But usually food was stored separate. You could put all your clothes, all of your tools, and everything was up there.
There's 2 ways to get in there.
Yep. All right, so normally there wouldn't be bars there. We had to put bars there so tourists don't try to go in and out. But this ladder right here, if you look on this side, you can see the notches. This is the entrance that the men and boys of the house would use to get in and out. Every pit house had a different pattern cut in their ladder, and only the people of that pit house knew the pattern, so they could get up and down really quickly. But any strangers trying to break in would fall, and then you'd know they were an intruder. This door at the front is built larger for tourism purposes, but this is the entrance that the elders, women, and children would use. It was usually only about this big. It was built so that the largest woman in the house would still have to crawl down to get in. And they usually had a bat or something at the door like that in case any intruders tried to come in. This was used as a winter home. It can be used as a summer home because you guys could feel how it's cooler down here. But it also leads to a home for snakes, so we always have to check for snakes before we come in here. During the winter, only the men and the boys would go out to do all their chores, gather food, things like that, whereas the elders, women, and children would be in here making their tools for the upcoming year. That was also the time of oral tradition, so that was when our chaptiques were told. They were only told in the winter time. So I'm going to pass some stuff around to you guys. I ask that you guys please be very, very respectful of it, as some of it's delicate. Also, while you're passing it around, don't talk, keep listening. So this is an example of one of the pine needle baskets that was woven. So you guys can see how time-consuming it would have been to weave one of those. Oh my goodness, yeah. This is some of the cotton that comes off of the cottonwood tree that you guys saw earlier. So this was used as the padding and moccasins and stuff like that. This is okra. I don't know the actual pronouncing, but this is the red chalky dust rock that was used to make all of our pictographs. So this was mixed with either salmon grease or bear grease, berries and things like that to make the color really long lasting, almost like a paint. These are 2 of our 4 food chiefs. So these are the Sia, the Saskatoon berries, and the Speetlum, the bitter root. This is another one of our food resources. So I grew up calling this witch's hair. Some people call it different things, but it's a moss that grows up in the trees. You can find it up towards Baldy. So what our people would do with this is they would harvest it and then you steam it over a fire, and you can mix berry juices or other things like that, and then it almost has a texture like licorice that you can eat. Besides salmon, this was our most important trading item for the people in Osoyoos. I don't know the English name, but it's called spitzen, so this is some of it dried. But it was very valuable because it's very strong. So a rope like this could easily trade a horse. This was used in many different ways, like this rope form. It was used to tie the tules together in teepees. You could use it as fishing line. It was used for horse equipment. I don't really know what you call the things that go on horses.
Ask Emily or Jordan, they'll tell you.
Tack.
Tack, yeah.
Yeah. These are 2 of our rocks. So this is a rock that's found in this area, and you can see that it's been carved into arrowheads. This is some rock that we would trade things like our spitzen or salmon for, and it's found around Mount St. Helens. How do you pronounce it again? Obsidian. So this is some obsidian, and it's really, really sharp. So this would be going on our knives or arrowheads.
Yeah, I got caught with obsidian.
So it's really valuable.
If you cut obsidian just right, you can make a really good blade. That's like my dream blade.
So this is an example of an olden fishing rod.
That I just handle.
This rope is made out of the same rope that you guys are passing around. So you guys can see that it's done finely.
You guys, shh.
The hook is also made off of one of the thorns off of the bush that was on the bridge. Because it's really hard and dense, it can be used. Please don't try to break it.
That would be used to fish?
Yeah.
Or hold fish?
Yeah, so the next 3 things were tools that were donated to us. So this is an old knife that was given to us. We had to trade out the rod because the other one broke. But the handle is made out of a deer antler, and it's tied together with deer hide. So you guys can see how that would be a knife. This is my favorite one. It did break off and we had to dull it so we could pass it around to tourists. but it did used to be a longer knife, and this is made out of a deer's jawbone. But you can see that it fits your hand perfectly. You'll like that one.
That's cool. It's so nice.
This is the last one. This is a item that was donated to us. A man found it in his property. So this was like a digging tool almost. Some people have said that it could have been used to dig out canoes, but it's carved out of an antler, and you can see where it's been worn down.
It looks like one of those that when you tap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a birch bark basket. We do have birch trees, not so much down here, but higher up the mountain we do. These were used for cooking, so you wouldn't just put this over the fire and let it burn. What you would do is you would take hot rocks out of the fire, put it in to heat up the water to then cook your food. And that's it.
This is